There we go. We're recording. We're live. Poor Ani's been listening to us have technical difficulties.
Every month it's
I hope you can hear me. And I'm so excited that you're coming to do some personal training with us at the gym. So welcome to being a bandit. I can't wait till I see you one day. Anyhow, for everybody else, my name is Jennifer and this is Dina, and we're nutrition coaches at Bandit CrossFit. And today we're going to dive into kind of a really popular topic. It's all over my Instagram and TikToks and all of the things about gut health, and leaky gut is a popular thing being talked about these days. And very recently, though, hearing a lot of things about gut health being linked to like mental health as well. So we're going to talk about all of those things today. Oh, this is so weird. At Bandit CrossFit, we are partnered with Healthy Steps Nutrition to support our clients using a framework that is guided, it's tested, and it's proven. Our mission statement is that we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple habit-based approach. But we know that helping you become the best and healthiest version of yourself isn't just about what you eat or the few hours that you spend in the gym a week. You have to focus on a holistic approach that includes everything that we see here in this wheel: your nutrition, your stress, your sleep, your exercise, your support system, the people that are around you, and then just overarching your lifestyle. Tina, you want to do our next slide?
Sure. Healthy Steps Nutrition has helped over 45,000 people around the world take back control of their health. Here are a few of their success stories. Did you know that our body contains trillions of different bacteria? When we hear bacteria, we may think of this with a negative connotation, but bacteria in and around our bodies are crucial for our health, especially your gut health. When we discuss bacteria in our gut, we refer to this as the gut microbiota. The term gut microbiota refers to the many organisms that live within our GI system, commonly known as the gut flora. These microorganisms play a crucial role in maintaining digestion and overall health, including our metabolism, immune system, our hormone balance, and even our mental health.
Scrolling trouble. That's a big word. Microbiome. The gut microbiota is a complex and dynamic system that can be influenced by a variety of factors, including your diet, lifestyle, and even your genetics. In order to gain a better understanding, it's important to recognize that your gut bacteria consists of various populations or types of bacteria that contribute to your overall health. Various groups of organisms are in competition for resources to sustain themselves and to proliferate. And the nourishment that we obtain from our diet and our surroundings, even your environmental, what do you call it? What is the word that is slipping from my mouth? Environmental factors contribute to that factor and to the rivalry that they're fighting for. Here's an example for you. Numerous studies have examined the Western diet and how it impacts our gut health. Studies have found that a Western diet, while is no shocker here, typically high in processed foods and refined sugars, saturated fats, and that those things lead to a decrease in the diversity of good gut bacteria and a higher count of the harmful species. Furthermore, studies have revealed that following this dietary trend can lead to a reduction in the production of short-chain fatty acids within our body. Those acids are essential for maintaining the health of your gut, as they aid in regulating your immune function, your metabolism, and just the overall well-being of your gut lining. That shift leads to inflammation, gut dysbiosis. That just means like your gut is swollen when we feel like we're bloated, poorer gut lining, and increased risk for health complications, including obesity, metabolic disorders, and inflammatory bowel disease, and even certain cancers.
That was interesting to me because I didn't know that, like, of course, like you have bacteria in your gut. I mean, that's a given. Most people know that. But I never thought about them being like in competition with each other. Like the bad bacteria outgrows the good bacteria. And
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
things.
It's like a like a symphony or whatever. Like it how everything has to be in sync.
Yeah.
Very I guess like technical or whatever.
To back on the Western diet, contrarily, research has found that eating more whole foods, which focus on minimally processed foods, have had a positive impact on the gut health by promoting more diversity of healthy gut microbiota. This healthy shift leads to reduced gut inflammation, improved gut barrier function, and reduce the risk of chronic conditions, the diseases that Jen just talked about. Research is finding that what people are consuming in their diet has a more powerful effect on their gut microbiome than their genetics, which is a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a baseline understanding of the importance of a healthy gut and how our food can impact it. So how can we start to trust your gut health? Let's talk about 3 things that you can do today to improve your gut health.
Okay. I like tips. I like the practical stuff.
Yeah.
Tip number 1 is to focus on whole foods first, with an emphasis being on fruits and vegetables. After discussing how our diet has an impact on our gut microbiota diversity, it helps us to understand that focusing on whole foods first is tip number 1. We should focus on eating more whole foods, including whole foods in your diet, such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and nuts can provide your body with dietary fibers. Fiber is super important, and essential nutrients that aid in the growth of that good bacteria in your gut, like bifidobacteria and lactobacillus. Fancy words. So whole foods makes more short chain fatty acids. More short chain fatty acids help your gut to improve your immune function and your metabolism, and whole foods give you more antioxidants. So lots of good reasons to add whole foods to your diet. Give us a professional tip, Dina.
If you struggle to get more veggies in, we always say start small and start with one thing at a time. So maybe you need to start, like, use your hand as a portion guide and maybe add like 1 handful to lunch or 1 handful to dinner. And then once you get that down pat, then you can add to it and maybe do 2 handfuls at lunch and 2 handfuls at dinner.
Exactly. Yeah, start slow and start from wherever you are and try to just increase it. Tip number 2 is to consume pre and probiotics.
This is a good part. Lots of people need it.
This is what people ask us about all the time, and what most of our questions from our little Google survey when you signed up for was pre and probiotics play a very important role in gut health. Prebiotics are non-digestible fibers that are fermented by the bacteria in our gut, which allows them to grow and multiply. So think about it as food for the bacteria that is in your gut. Probiotics are the actual live microorganisms that provide us with the benefits that we've been talking about. So let's talk about
Fiber.
fiber.
Fiber is so important.
A
study published in 2017 found that fiber allows our healthy gut bacteria to thrive, leading to thicker mucus walls, decreased inflammation, and better digestion. Researchers suggest for diets highest in fiber to get a better understanding when they found this tribe called the, I don't know how you say this, the Haida or the Haida. And they're one of the last like hunter-gatherers left in the world. And so like naturally whole foods, all natural, and they get about 100 grams of fiber a day, which is a lot. It's way more than you're supposed to. But what was I getting at? Oh, 25 to 30 grams is the recommended daily amount of fiber.
Right.
Yeah. But this tribe had almost no like gut issues, gut illnesses, or anything like that.
It's fascinating. One tip too, I don't know if this is in the slides later or if I was just thinking about it or if I read it. But if you're not getting hardly any fiber currently, you definitely shouldn't like go eat 30 grams of fiber tomorrow, because it might cause you some distress in your stomach area. So just like we talked about with the increasing with your fists, start slow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are thrown off by that, especially when they start implementing fruits and veggies into their diet. They're like, well, it makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah, we hear that all the time when we do a nutrition challenge. And one of the, steps is to fill your half of your plate with vegetables. If it's people that haven't eaten vegetables,
Mhm.
in their diet in a long time, having half a plate at lunch and dinner is a lot. And so it does increase their discomfort, but it does pass. It goes away. And you kind of have to experiment with which foods, affect your body
Mhm.
negatively and positively. So some foods that are considered great prebiotics, because I'm not going to tell you, unfortunately, I think a lot of y'all were hoping I would give you a magic pill today and a recommendation of some, liquid greens or something like that, like that's all over my.
All the rave.
Yeah, I always feel like I need to buy athletic greens because they're everywhere and all the fancy people drink them. But they taste like garbage.
I
I'd
like
rather
that.
eat real food. I'd rather eat real food. But so some of these are a stretch even for me because I don't eat a lot of these things like the fermented foods. Anyway, let me finish my before I forget something. Foods that are considered great prebiotics include fruits like bananas. Everybody likes a banana, right? And vegetables like greens. I think we are all eating our greens, so that's good. Onions and garlic. I love onions and garlic. And nuts and whole grains. I probably lack getting whole grains in my diet because I pretty much do gluten free. So I've got to like put some flax seeds and stuff in things to remember to get that. But probiotics can also be found in yogurt, kefir, fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, which I cannot stand, and kombucha and tempeh. And there are some cheeses that, and typically when you're looking at a label, they'll say like live cultures or active cultures or something like that. And you're recommended to get 10 to 20 billion of those CFUs to support a healthy gut and a strong immune system. I do like kimchi, and I mean, not kimchi, I like kombucha. And Larry's been on a kick of drinking kombucha, so it's in my refrigerator. So yesterday, after I was getting ready for this, I was like, okay, I'll start drinking those since I haven't been doing very much else. And I also usually get a banana every day. So I don't think I'm doing too terribly bad. Becky Masters, one of our members at the gym, she drinks kefir every day. She makes it herself. And she's always telling me that she'll bring me some of the
It is.
I guess it's like little live, whatever. Like, I don't know. My mom used to make bread with like something that was alive, like that, I guess yeast or whatever. Anyways, so it makes me think about that. And that it's intimidating to me to make my own stuff. But she said it's really good and has made a huge difference in her, just like general health, like her immune system and her gut feels better and everything too. So very interesting. But good to know for those of y'all that were looking for a magic pill that some of these things you may already be eating, like vegetables and bananas.
Mhm.
But so maybe adding some of the
I think a lot of people are confused too on exactly like why the difference in a prebiotic and a probiotic and like
yeah.
when which one you really need. They have
Mhm.
some people have gut problems and they're like, oh, I'm just going to get it all and I'm going to take it all, when really like you're not doing anything because you're out of whack and you're still out of
Yeah.
whack.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably more of something that you're missing in your diet than
Yep.
it is anything else. Tip number 3, imagine this, manage your
Manage your
stress.
stress.
So important because we're so busy.
You are.
Okay, I'll
So
let you take this tip.
recent research has shed light on the connection between our gut health and our mental health. It has become clear that these two are closely linked and can impact each other in various ways. The gut and the brain are connected through the gut-brain axis, which is a complex communication system that involves the nervous system, the immune system, and the endocrine system. Our gut is providing the axis with neurotransmitters, hormones, and signaling molecules that influence our brain and behavior. When we have poor gut health, we have discussed the increase in inflammation, which affects our brain, leading to mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, and even cognitive issues. Like this makes me think about like when somebody gets stressed or they have anxiety real bad, they're like, now I have ulcers.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, we touched on the importance of gut health in aiding digestion. In cases of poor gut health, deficiencies in essential nutrients such as omega-3s, B vitamins, and magnesium can occur, which has often been linked to depression. One randomized controlled trial put this to the test and found surprisingly quick recovery in participants with depression. This study found that when participants were provided with vitamin B, folic acid, and magnesium each day, it led to rapid recovery from major depression in 1 week's time.
It's awesome.
Please keep in mind that you should not be adding any supplementation to your diet without first discussing this with your primary doctor. But that's huge.
Yeah. And so pay attention to like the foods that you're eating and look them up and see what's in, like what vitamins are in. I had this written down, but I am not at the gym today, so I don't have it with me. But what fruits and vegetables have the most like vitamin B12 and that folic acid and magnesium. I think bananas and broccoli were like two things that I mean, I'm always looking at like what I like and what I eat regularly, and then just trying to make sure that I you know, either get it daily or what have you, to kind of help with those things. So, tying this back to stress management, studies also show that our gut influences the release of hormones, and more specifically, the stress hormones, cortisol, that make it so hard for us to lose weight if our cortisol is high. That dysregulation can also contribute to mental health complications. So here's 3 ways that we like to recommend to manage your stress. Tip number 1 is to practice mindfulness. It's just simply a way to be present in your surrounding, in your thoughts, and in your behaviors. Some of our favorite ways to practice mindfulness include box breathing, meditation, and yoga. I had a client the other day tell me that she was on the verge of losing her mind in a moment with her children. And she had just dropped, like it was a super stressful morning, and she was driving and getting this kid there and that kid there and this kid there. And she was like, I thought I was going to have a panic attack. She was like, I literally felt like I couldn't breathe. So she pulled over and she was like, I'm going to try your box breathing. And she did. And she was like, I could not believe she was sold. But she said she could not believe how quickly, like, the breathing calmed down, and she felt like, good grief, what a you know, how we get so tied up with what we're focusing on in the moment, and then once it passes, like, you realize,
There are a lot of things that I feel like we hear, and sometimes you and I talk about, that sound so like cheesy or corny or whatever, but like when you actually are in that moment and you apply it, it's like, it works.
it does work. It does work. Sometimes when I practice box breathing, though, it gives me anxiety because I'm not really good at holding my breath. But it is super helpful. Tip number 2, or the second way to manage stress, is moving your body. Of course, we're a CrossFit gym, so we like for people to be moving their bodies daily. Exercise is a very powerful way to manage your stress. Exercise reduces your cortisol and increases your feel-good endorphins. And if working out feels like a big task, just make it easier. Just go walk for 5 to 15 minutes.
Convenient. Make it convenient.
Yeah. Also, it's super good for your digestion if you go for a 5 or a 15-minute walk after your meals. So just a quick walk. If you're in an office, just get up and walk around, make the trip from your desk to the copy machine and back and through the lunchroom, and say hello to everybody and what have you. And then, after dinner, like, gather your family up and go for a walk. It's super nice. It's a good way to catch up on your day. And we always aim to try to have dinner together, but I think the older my kids get, the harder it is, because everybody's on their own schedule working, or, with soccer practices or what have you. And so maybe a family walk instead of family dinner, if your family's crazy like mine, just so you can talk about your day and decompress.
It really is. It gives you a little bit of time to, like, things that you think because you live together, you would just know or like talk about, but you really don't, because even when you're in your house, you're so busy.
Yeah.
That's me and Gary have recently implemented going for walks together, and it's like,
I love it.
We have communication again.
Good.
Nice.
Good. And then third way to manage stress is to prioritize your self-care. We need to take time for ourselves every single day. Try reading a book rather than scrolling through social media. That's been a big shift for me the last couple of months, as I have put my phone away when I'm done, in the evening, and then I'm reading before I go to bed. Helps me sleep better too. Spend more time outside in nature by going for a hike or having a picnic. If you've been doing this HTK with Bandit in this month, you've gotten plenty of time outside.
I have enjoyed cheering you guys on.
Yes, I finished this morning, and I haven't entered it yet in the thing. I keep, like, it's on my list to do. I've been doing it before I go to bed at night, just adding up all my miles, so it'll get there. And ensure that you are connecting with your friends and family on a regular basis. That's a action step that we have in our challenges a lot. And I think that's puts people outside their comfort zone because, I mean, yes, we text with people, all during the day, and we talk to people all during the day, but being intentional about just checking in on people and having somebody check in on you is, it doesn't count when I text in and be like, are you coming to class today? Or, are you ready to sign up? Are you on this talk? Or what was I supposed to do today? Just, make it personal. Find you a friend, have an accountability buddy. All right. Tell us what HSN is all about. What do we focus on?
Now that we've explored the 3 tips you can start today to improve your gut health, let's take a minute to discuss our 3 core principles with HSN that have changed my life and other people around the world. Tip number 1 is to focus on whole foods first. We should start choosing whole food options and less processed foods packed with sodium, fat, and sugar. A simple way to start doing this is by reshaping your plate using the plate method, which kind of flows into number 2, is a focus on balance of macronutrients. When you follow that plate method, it's kind of a way to balance your plate and get a balance of those macronutrients in without having to think about it too terribly much. We say that you should have a half a plate of non-starchy vegetables and a quarter of a plate of starchy vegetables and a quarter plate of protein. Also, pairing your meals and snacks together like that and getting that balance will keep you fuller for longer. Tip number 3 is to limit the number of processed carbs and sugar. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons or about 24 grams of added sugar for women and 9 for men. The average person consumes over 150 pounds of sugar per year. That's about 46 teaspoons per day.
So, no wonder the Western diet is causing so many problems. Sugar.
Be mindful. Watch your labels.
Yep. Always be aware. And the best way to avoid all that is to just eat real food. Don't eat the food that comes in a package. Shop the perimeter of your grocery store. Some frequently asked questions. I'm going to scroll ahead just real quick and make sure. Okay, good. I was making sure I had the right thing because this is where I thought I put the questions that had come through on the registration form, but it's not. I have it later. So some frequently asked questions though is, do you need to take supplements? We already talked about that a little bit, didn't we? After hearing about some of the studies today, as well as our focus on pre and probiotics, it's natural to wonder if supplementation is right for you. Is the dog barking in the background super loud?
No.
Okay, just making sure. I could shut the door, but she might come might bark at the door. Okay, lost my place. It's not always necessary to take supplements to meet your nutritional needs, but it can be helpful in some cases. It is generally better to obtain your nutrients from whole foods whenever possible. Whole foods provide a variety of nutrients, including vitamins, minerals, fiber, antioxidants that work together to promote health and well-being. Additionally, whole foods often contain other beneficial compounds that supplements do not, such as phytochemicals, which have been shown to have anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties. Taking too many supplements can be harmful to your health. Some supplements can interact with medications or cause side effects, and high doses of certain nutrients can be toxic. If you're concerned about meeting your needs, it is best to focus on eating a balanced diet, which includes a variety of whole foods, as we have discussed today. If you have a specific nutrient deficiency or health condition that requires supplementation, it is super important for you to work with a healthcare professional to determine the appropriate supplement and dosage. So, what's your takeaway from that, Dina? Do I need to take supplements?
Explore supplementation last.
Right.
Just find someone.
A variety of real foods. And that's why they tell you to eat the rainbow too. It's for your plate to be colorful, because that's where you're getting those the minerals and what's that other word just a minute ago, the like phytochemicals and stuff that are in there, things that are not going to be in those supplements, but have benefits for your body.
I had somebody reach out yesterday and her specific question was about like supplements, like what should I get? Is this a good one? All the questions. And I just encouraged her to kind of track, her prebiotics and probiotics that she got naturally for a week and see where she was lacking before
Yeah.
experimenting with that. And I know a lot of people don't want to track, but in situations like that, it can be kind of helpful because it could be something natural that you could just eat instead of, buying and taking.
Yeah, we have a resource too that kind of lists, I'm sure not all of the vitamins and minerals, but the ones I think that are probably most important to our bodies. And then alongside of that, like what foods those are found in. And then also like what like if you were low in vitamin C, like what symptoms might you be experiencing? And then so can you start eating some of these foods to help with that? So if any of y'all would like more information on that, just, I don't know, send it in the chat here or send me a message
They
on
should be
Facebook or
able,
something like that.
to reply to an email that we have sent and we'll see it. And
Yes, perfect. That would be a great place to have that. And I could send that to you. Or if you just have some general something that you feel like is off, then, reach out. And we can always do like a free intro or a little 1 hour consult or whatever too. Another thing that people tell me all the time, people have been telling me this for years. What if I don't like vegetables? And I will just tell you, you probably just haven't found the ones that you like or the way to cook it. And I think that's the key. Because I grew up with like the vegetables at my house was a can of green beans or like mushy broccoli, and my mom put cheese sauce all over it. And I didn't like the cheese sauce. So definitely didn't like the broccoli. But as I grew up and then married a guy that was from the country and that's all he ate was vegetables, experimented with cooking them different ways. And when I discovered roasting broccoli and like roasting Brussels sprouts and asparagus,
game changer.
yeah, game changer. That's my favorite thing to eat is probably roasted broccoli. Just,
I usually make like chicken fajitas is like a staple in our house. And I
Mhm.
always would like cook my peppers and onions like in with my chicken or whatever. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna roast these and it's like change the flavor of the entire dish. So that's the only way I eat anything anymore is I just roast it.
Right. I love the roasted peppers and onions together too. Super good. It's like it just is a totally different flavor. Like if you have a raw broccoli, a steamed broccoli, and a roasted broccoli, they all three taste completely different.
And fun fact, you have to try something what 12 to 15 times before you can really say that you don't like it. Like how many times do we like try to give something to our kid and they're like, I don't like it. Well, try it again. There's a reason that we tell them to try it 10 times.
Yep. So same thing. Don't tell me you don't like it if you haven't tried it at least 15 times in at least 4 different ways cooked. The last question we get is where should you start? And that's a great question. I want you to start with just one thing at a time. Kind of like we talked about earlier, with one handful at a time, focus on one thing. And I love these statistics. You'll be 80% successful to maintain that one thing. When you start trying to focus on 2 things, you are less than 30% successful to maintain that one habit. And if you try to focus on changing 3 things, you'll be less than 5% successful. So that is why we encourage you to only focus on one thing at a time. However, today we have talked about a lot of different things and a lot of different reasons why we should focus on our gut health, including improved digestion and overall health, a stronger immune system to decrease our risk for chronic illnesses, and improved mental health. So as you think about the 3 tips, and here's the main 3 things again that we talked about: eating whole foods, increasing, excuse me, your pre and probiotics, and lastly, managing your stress. Ask yourself this question: where do you feel like you have the most room for improvement? And then how can you start to take action on that one thing? And then once you've become really good at that one thing, then you can go back and address the next thing that you want to work on. And maybe you're thinking that all sounds really great, but you need some help. Well, that's great because that's what we do here. So before we're done, we'll talk about how we can help you with that. But here's where I stuck this, and maybe I put it in the wrong spot. But here's our questions that were asked at registration. Are there over-the-counter supplements that will help with gut health and are recommended daily? Well, we've already answered your question, but there are. But we would highly recommend that you try to eat real foods that contain those prebiotics. And again, those were bananas, green onions, garlic, not green onions, greens, like, your turnip greens, your spinach, kale, all those leafy green things, right? Onions, garlic, nuts, and whole grains. For probiotics, we recommend yogurt or kefir, or any kind of fermented food like sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, kombucha, and tempeh. And then those cheeses, and I didn't look into these. That was probably, I should have done that. But the ones that say live cultures or active cultures. Dina, are you a cheese person? Do you know?
What? What are you
Like
asking me?
fermented cheese, maybe like blue cheese or like feta.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
don't.
have
I'm not
cultures?
a I'm not a big cheese person.
Me
Uh,
either.
One thing I really want to talk about is if you are going to get a supplement from over the counter, what is that the little label that you want to cook for?
Informed choice.
Yes, because supplements are not regulated by the FDA, which means
They can put whatever they want in there.
whatever they want for them. But a lot of them have like a little label on them that says informed choice or like studied by a third party. There's a little label.
That's what you want, is something that has offered somebody else to come in and review their product.
Super, super important. A good snack. This is my favorite, and I eat this every single day. If you follow me on Instagram, you know, but it's yogurt with nuts and berries. And sometimes I put a little granola on top if I'm feeling fancy, but it's my absolute favorite. And it's got that good bacteria in it.
Yep. And you could probably add flaxseed for some more grains to those too, just a little sprinkle. We had somebody ask about bloating, and so we kind of already talked about that too.
Flexi Pharmacy.
Where's
Yes, we are.
somebody hold on.
Is that okay? I can. How long are you gonna be in here? Because I need to run an errand.
Hey, that was Rhonda.
That is
Okay.
fine.
Got
Down there for a decade. So really,
I'm trying to figure out who else is not muted. Okay, I think we got it.
Yep, you got it. I was
I'm
in
so
there.
glad all of you are here. That made me notice that we had more friends with us. Well,
have several people on today.
Y'all are my bright spot. I have to write this down so I can tell my mentor next month that I had a bright spot. Okay, so let's back to bloating. Eating lots of vegetables, legumes, or regularly drinking fizzy drinks could also be the culprit. Like anything that's carbonated can cause bloating. The cure to bloating, if the issue is your gut microbiome, could include just eating smaller portions, like increasing how many meals you eat a day, but smaller portion sizes. Checking your sugar and trying to lower your sugar intake and your intake of processed foods. Making sure that you're managing your stress and exercising regularly, and then trying some of those foods that we mentioned earlier that have the pre and probiotics. I'm gonna tell them to you again, so I'm blue in the face today. Bananas and your greens, your onions, your garlic, your nuts, your whole grains, and then those fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, the kombucha, whatever cheeses. We'll give you those in some kind of a post later. Remind me to make a post in July about cheese that has live cultures in it.
And 20 to 30 grams of fiber.
A day. Mm-hmm.
Slowly.
Start slowly. So these are just a couple of success stories from our dietitian's gym, our mentor, Healthy Steps Nutrition. And then I've got some of our fancy people today. And I'm reminded that I need to post Scott's. He did our nutrition challenge. He actually did our little mini challenge that we did in the fall and got himself going. And then he also did our challenge at the beginning of the year, which I think we actually started in February this year. Time just goes by so dang quick. But anyhow, he had some blood work done, and some of his numbers were definitely not where his doctor wanted him to be. And so he cleaned up his diet and really started focusing on his strength in the gym. And he had his blood work done maybe a month or two ago. And his doctors were like, what in the world have you been doing? And so I have those notes. I've got to make a story to brag on him. He's done a great job. And CJ and Ashlyn there, I pulled Ashlyn's stuff because we're about to launch just working with some brides. And she was a bride that I worked with a couple years ago, getting ready for her big day. So we're super proud of our people.
Doing so good.
Yeah. And then this is just a free resource for y'all. Our dietitian puts on a podcast called Nutrition Made Simple, and there are a ton of episodes, and you can scroll through there and, pick a topic that you're interested in, or just start with number one and listen to them in your free time. Or if you're still trying to finish up the 100 miles, pop that into your ears for some good listening or whatever. She highlights some of their success stories, and it's just always inspiring to me to listen to somebody that, has started their weight loss journey and been successful. So it's a good podcast to listen to. There's a really good one on hormone health too. I don't know what's wrong with my little scrolly thing. I think I just moved my box. Not that it matters. We're pretty much done. But if you need some one-on-one help, oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you need some one-on-one help, or maybe like you're struggling, you don't know where to start, or maybe you feel like you need all these things and you need help navigating what's most important, then reach out. We have a little code you can scan here and do a free intro and meet with us and talk about your goals and talk about all the paths we have to navigate you and get you there.
Yep. Does anybody that's here have a question? I had my message box up a minute ago because somebody had commented, but I had to move it out of the way. Let's see.
I don't see anything.
Oh, talking about bloating, like that white bread, gives belly bloat. And so she switched to whole grain and with like the lots of nuts and seeds, and has made a big difference. You know why? Because it increased your fiber. So it's good. Yep.
Little things, guys, little things.
And really that comes down to reading your nutrition labels too, and paying attention to ingredients. And a long time ago, I had a food sensitivity test done because I was just having so much trouble. Didn't realize that a lot of it was coming from my, gut and things that my stomach was sensitive to, but it had manifested itself in like rheumatoid arthritis. And so that's what started my passion, I guess, for helping other people, is because it's just absolutely fascinating to me how you can heal your body with food.
I feel like our bodies are our greatest science experiment.
Yeah. Everybody is different.
It happens.
Yep. Okay. I don't think we have any questions.
Today was a good talk. Lots of good information. Lots of people.
Glad that all of y'all could join us. Okay. We will post about cheese. I'm writing it down right now.
Yes. Make a note. Let's make a note.
And then if you're interested in that resource that I have on the vitamins and minerals and symptoms that it may cause, and what foods you can do to kind of help, alleviate those symptoms, then let me know and I will send it to you. Okay. What is this day of this week? Thursday. And we'll see you back in about a month. I scheduled our mentor call for 1 month from today, so we might as well do this 1 month from today too. Okay. Bye, y'all.
Good day.
Okay. And